Hey love, I'm Gena. I'm a fitness and nutrition coach who helps women find relief from food obsession, body shame, and perfectionism so they can feel calm, confident, and strong without obsession. If you're exhausted from overthinking food, afraid of weight gain, or stuck trying to do everything right but still never feeling enough, you're in the right place. I know this terrain deeply. I've lived through restriction, treatment, binging, rebuilding, and the identity loss that comes with letting go of control. And now I help women stop punishing themselves, rebuild trust with their bodies, and create strength and health that actually feels sustainable. This is a space where healing and body goals get to coexist, where fitness doesn't cost you your peace, and where you don't have to do this alone. Take a breath. You're safe here. This is the Fit Without Obsession podcast. I feel like this is going to be such a cathartic episode because genuinely, the past version of myself would have never even dreamed of feeling, first off, as happy and confident as I feel now, but also being able to not have a mental fucking breakdown by actually eating enough to fuel myself. And I genuinely believed for I don't know if maybe most of my life, honestly, years and years and years, a majority of my life, I would say that eating less was truly just the solution to all, the solution to how I was feeling, the solution to being liked, the solution to actually doing life well and perfectly. And I really thought that having discipline in this area and really limiting my food intake would fix everything for me. And I was not trying to hurt myself all the time. I wasn't trying to, cut calories because I hated myself, where let's be real, I had moments like that, right? I had phases, but in general, I was really just trying to feel enough, when I was eating less. I thought that would fulfill me and make me finally feel worthy. And I really want to have this episode together with you today because I wish that someone had told me a lot of these things earlier and sooner. So I want to share them with you in case they can help you on your own journey. And the first thing that really I would like to say to my younger self is that being skinny will not fix how you feel about yourself. Honestly, I hit lower weights and I still did not feel secure. Honestly, I feel like at my lowest weights, I actually felt the most insecure. I felt the most disconnected because it was all of a sudden I got to those weights or, I lost weight. I ate as little as possible. And there was still this feeling of not being enough, of not being worthy. And I was so distraught because I felt like I had reached where I was, had the goal to be, and I still wasn't feeling better. And also the goalpost always moved. Even if I lost 5 pounds and said that at the start of that journey, all I wanted to lose was 5 pounds, I would get there and be okay, well, I could probably lose another 5 pounds though, right? Or okay, but is this really as small as I can get? And body dissatisfaction really is not about being solved by shrinking. If you are truly dissatisfied in your body, weight loss is not going to fix that, right? Self-worth being low, it really has nothing to do with how you look externally, and it actually has to do so much more with what's going on internally, right? And when we focus in on weight loss, that just gives that low self-worth a louder microphone. It doesn't actually appease it or fix it. And I want you to know that you might be at a space too where you are feeling thin, or maybe even you're praised for being smaller right now, but you could still feel in those moments miserable and deeply insecure. And that's normal, right? Because weight loss isn't meant to fix those things. It isn't meant to mend those things, even though maybe society, and people online are marketing that it does. It really, truly doesn't. Also, something I'd say to my younger self, underfueling steals your personality. It literally steals everything that makes you you. And that is the saddest thing to say out loud, right? Because we have so much uniqueness. We have so much power and individuality. And when we underfuel, we really don't have the energy or mental capacity to actually be able to be ourselves and share our presence with the world. I was not fully present, when I was underfueling. And I really struggled with a lot of physical things that affected the way I was mentally, brain fog. I was irritable all the time. I felt completely isolated because I was so just all consumed by thoughts around food that I really just couldn't check in on others. I couldn't be there for other people, or, maybe I was in social settings, but I wasn't actually there mentally fully. Obsessive food thoughts took up all of my brain space, and it wasn't fun. And I was not at the time spontaneous or creative or, kind and loving and generous. Like, I couldn't be any of those things. You cannot build a big life on low energy. You just truly can't. Now, also a big thing that I would say to my younger self is that eating more changed my relationships, like in every aspect. Especially like we can even start by talking about my marriage, right? Like, even when I met Trey, like my husband, I was still restricting. I was past my eating disorder. I was eating more. I was cutting back, but I was still kind of in quasi recovery. And it really did kind of put a wedge between us in a sense in the beginning of our relationship. It made a lot of our hangouts complicated. It made a lot of our conversations food focused. And once I started to eat more, finally, like I was more present in our relationship. I had a lot less anxiety and less reactivity. Like I was able to actually have clearer communication, clearer boundaries. Like we had less arguments, less like, me freaking out over little things. And I wasn't constantly thinking about my next meal. So I actually had energy to connect, right? Like, and food really stopped being this like third person in the room when we were able to really just spend time with each other and not have it be the most important part of the day. My relationship really improved when I stopped being at war with myself. Also in my career, like I now have so much more clear thinking. I'm like way more creative. I am a better leader. I have way more emotional capacity for clients. And I also stopped building my business from depletion, right? You cannot build a strong business from a starved body. And maybe you're not a business owner, but like you cannot, really excel at work from a starved body. You can't maybe get out of a career that isn't serving you when we're in a place of like not having enough energy to even show up and get through the day, right? And even my friendships, like those really transformed a lot too. Like I started to say yes way more because before I used to be so fearful of what food might be involved with things or, if I didn't have my safe things around or, going out to a restaurant could be too triggering. So I'd say no to things. Like I stopped avoiding dinners. I started being present and laughing more and being more joyful. And I wasn't like mid conversation calculating all the calories in my head that I was eating. Like I really truly started to feel like myself again. Eating more did not take my life away. It actually gave my life back to me. Something else I would say to my younger self is that discipline built on fear is always going to break. I think for a long time, like when I would be eating as little as possible or moving as much as possible and just trying to push through and it felt uncomfortable and just be perfect, like I would call that dedication. But really, it wasn't dedication. It was like truly anxiety, and white knuckling food is not actually a strength. Because when we do restrict, like it always comes with a rebound. Like you cannot restrict the rest of your life. I promise you. Like even when I had anorexia, guys, like, and I barely ate, I would have days where I literally would say out loud, like, oh, I must have a binge eating problem. Like even though I was very extremely underweight, I was definitely not eating enough because I would have those moments where like I literally would clear out the pantry and I would just eat to the point of feeling sick and like my stomach would literally be in so much pain because our bodies like physically need food to survive, right? So they're going to make it happen no matter what. Another thing I'd say to my younger self, that I had a huge physique plot twist unravel, right? Like I truly thought that eating more would ruin my body, that I would gain a bunch of weight, I would feel disgusting, I would hate myself. But like really when I started eating more, like the actual opposite happened. Like actually all the goals that I really thought that eating less would bring me, like my training improved, my hormones finally stabilized, my body composition actually improved, which like plot twist, I didn't see that coming. I built muscle. I felt so strong instead of like consistently feeling fragile and sick and weak and getting injured. And I honestly like my body way more now than I ever did when I was eating way less. I can say that over and over. Like, I feel like if I was still eating the least amount possible, I would still feel at war in my body right now. Now, some things that I would really say directly to her, and maybe to you, if this is hitting too, like, you don't need to be smaller to be worthy. You are not lazy for being tired. You're really just underfed. Your body is not the problem here. And you're also not going to regret choosing health. Like, I promise you, you will not regret eating more once you do it. I know it's so scary to start. I know it's scary to do in the first, few months, the follow through. But once you get over that fear hump, like, you will be so grateful that you did. Really, honestly, what I want you to hear is that eating less feels productive because it is often avoidance. Because true strength requires fuel. True confidence requires nourishment. And freedom really requires safety, right? Like, the biggest thing that I always promote and what I will always say to all of my clients and online, and like what I really believe is something that we should lean into, is we want to be strong, not starving. Like, that is so important. That is how you're going to live your life the way you want. That's how you're going to build your dream body, build your dream life that we've been talking about. And if you still believe that eating less is the answer, I do understand why. Like, it's scary, right? Like, you have told yourself day after day, year after year, that you need to eat as little as possible to be liked, to be loved, to be seen for who you are. But I promise you, like, there is another way. You don't have to keep proving your worth through hunger. You can love your body and your life, and I promise you, you will not regret taking the step to actually start fueling yourself the way that your body is asking for. Thank you so much for being here and listening to the Fit Without Obsession podcast. If this episode made you feel seen, understood, or a little less alone, make sure you're following so you don't miss any future episodes. And if you feel called to share, you can tag me on Instagram at @thefitbean_. I love connecting with you there. If you're ready for deeper support, whether that's calming food obsession, rebuilding trust with your body, or getting stronger without slipping back into old patterns, you'll find ways to work with me linked in the show notes. And remember, you are not broken. You are not behind. And you don't need to earn your worth through control. You can want peace and strength. You can heal and build a body you feel at home in. I'm rooting for you always. Talk soon.